Now that we have a generic binding system, we're going to do a little challenge to make sure that it's clicking and that you're understanding how the binding system actually works. So what I'd like you to do is hook up the laser switches to use our generic binding system instead. Remove the bind laser switches method, or at least the call to it, and use our bind method instead. Go through the process of hooking up whatever it is you think needs to be hooked up, see if you can figure it out, and then follow along and I'll show you the steps. So go ahead and do that now, and then we'll get going. All right, I'm going to assume that you've either paused and gone through it, or again, you just want to see the steps, but I would highly recommend that you've gone through it and at least tried it real quick because it's going to be very, very simple. Let's dive into it now. So first thing we're going to do is go to our bind method. Let's go find the part where we're calling our binds right here, and I'm going to duplicate line 59 and comment out line 62. We'll change coin to laser switch, and copy that and replace coin data with laser switch data, and then finally pass in our laser switch data. Now, of course, we've got some errors here saying that laser switch and laser switch data don't match our generic types because they don't implement the two interfaces that we've created. So let's go to our laser switch data first, and let's add the iNamed interface. And then finally, we'll just copy line 35 and paste it over 42 for speed so we can implement that interface without having to type a whole bunch. Then we'll go back. I just do Control- on my keyboard, by the way, or I have a mouse key bound to it. And then we've got to fix our laser switch itself, not the laser switch data. So we'll go to the laser switch and we'll say that it has an iBind interface, or implements the iBind interface and binds to laser switch data. Add in that closing one, and don't let it add in a duplicate brace. And since we already implement that method down here, we shouldn't have any errors. It binds to laser switch data just like we would expect. And then that's it. We're literally done. Now our data binds up to laser switch data, and hopefully you're starting to see the value here. When we want to add in a new object type, we just have to implement those two interfaces and call this bind, and our data should bind up. Let's go test it out though, just to make sure that it's actually working as expected. So we'll play. We're going to run over there, smack some of those switches, and then save and load. All right, we're almost in. Get that game manager selected. Scroll down here to my save. Let's go flip some of these switches over. We'll just do those two. We'll save and reload. You can see that it switched state. And now let's just go flip that one over here and maybe these ones back. We'll jump up. Let's go over to level 2. Come back over here. Jump back in. Go into level 1. And my switches are still in the correct state. So my data is persisting and everything's working with our new generic system. Hopefully, again, this is expanding your mind, giving you some ideas for how easy it's going to be to save any type of data that you want, and for possibly ways that you can use generics in the future. Whenever you got something that's super reusable like this, where you've got the same pattern and you're finding yourself copying and pasting, generics might be a good option. All right, let's go back in and commit our changes. So say that we've switched laser switches to use generics, and we'll check that in.